How's it going, everybody?
Great.
Good, awesome. Well, I'm really glad to be here with you guys today. I'm gonna empty my pocket if I'm not around. I haven't had the opportunity to come out and teach here. Actually, I had my first visit out here not too long ago, so I'm excited to be here with you guys. Has anybody here ever seen one of my classes online? Anybody ever joined one of those? We got one, of course.
Yes.
By the way, I know Juanita since way back, so,
They don't know me.
yeah, they don't know
I don't
you.
know these people in here. No.
Okay, so this is Juanita Andrew. So my name is Patrick Mauldin, and today we're going to be going through filling your funnel and expanding your sphere with paid ads is the core of what it is. Facebook ads are mainly what we're going to be talking about today. As I said, though, my name is Patrick Mauldin. I work for the Keller Williams Southeast region, which many of you may be familiar, some of you may not. We are basically the entity that awards franchises and helps support the franchises, such as this particular Keller Williams office, this market center. And so I've been in real estate now about 12 years. I'm originally from the state of Alabama, so I grew up in Hoover, if anybody's familiar with what Hoover, Alabama is. I lived in Pelham most recently, and 2 years ago, I moved over here when I took this role with the region to East Cobb, Marietta. So I'm new-ish to Georgia. Okay, so I haven't been here forever. I'm starting to actually figure out where things are. When I moved here, people are like, Buford. I'm like, I have no idea what Buford is. People like Decatur. I have no idea what Decatur is. When people are like, Dahlonega, I said, where's Dahlonega? Like, I don't know where any of these places or things are. Okay, so I'm starting to get used to everything here, but been in real estate about 12 years. In that time, I've worked with thousands of agents, just like you guys, to be able to grow and scale your real estate business using proven systems, models, and tools. When I moved here with my wife and my 2 daughters. All of this is important, I promise, okay? I don't just say these things for no reason, but moved here with my wife and my 2 daughters. My oldest is 10 years old, and she's freaking out over the solar eclipse right now because they got out early and they're outside right now doing that. And then I have a 2-year-old who's the cutest kid you've ever seen. I'm sorry if y'all have kids and you think they're cute, mine's cuter. That's okay. We can fight outside. It's okay. We can agree to disagree. And then also, me and my wife are super big book nerds. I'm also a published science fiction writer. Part of the reason that's important is I actually have some books to give away today. So does anybody here like to read?
Yes.
I have a non-nerdy book in here, and then I have a nerdy book in here. So we will give these away later, okay? But only for participation.
Okay.
All right?
We
So
got you.
I have 2 books. I have a wealth building book. I will not tell you what it is. And then I have a book by maybe a writer that's in the room. So anyway. For those who don't know, since y'all haven't been to any of my online classes yet, so at r19zoom.com is my training calendar. I literally have every single class I'm teaching for the rest of 2024 up to this point already on my calendar. One of the things to know about any of my classes, for one thing, they're on Zoom, okay? Because I have a whole region. I have Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee to cover. Wish I could be everywhere. Y'all are actually a short drive by comparison. My furthest market center is 6 hours and 30 minutes away. And it'd probably get there faster, but I'm a slow driver. It is Golden Isle, St. Simons seems to take forever to get to. It takes me forever to get to at least. But all that is to say, we host these over Zoom. We have some basic core content that we teach. And then we also have bigger classes, like for example, on the 18th, which I guess is next Thursday? Yeah. Is Successes Under Your Command, which is our all-day command workshop. So we will be hosting that. We've got some guest facilitators that day as well. And what we always do when we have our big all-day classes, we always have 5 topics and they're always market of the moment. We're going to be going through database is the first one. That's something we do every single time we do this class. But then we're also going to be going through how to turn newsletters into closed business. We have a guy who works with a lot of investors, and he has actually been able to turn his investor group into $4 million in under contract business in the past month. Okay, he only has 350 people on the list, only about half of them open. Okay, so we're going to be going through his playbook and how he does that. We're gonna be talking about, how to clean up your command database. So you may have gotten a lot of contacts in, don't know what the heck to do with them. It's a big jumbled mess. We've got a segment we're gonna be doing on that, show you how to use advanced filters and some strategies around how to do that. We're also gonna be covering, there's a really cool new feature coming to Command in the next few months-ish time. I can't give you an exact thing because I got asked earlier and KWRI won't tell me exactly when it's gonna be. But it's this feature called likely to list. Have y'all heard about this yet? Okay, so likely to list, for anyone who doesn't know, you put a bunch of data in Command, it's going to put it through a predictive analytics model, AI, and look at publicly available information, connect the two of them and tell you when somebody's gonna, within a reasonable amount of certainty, when they're gonna list or sell their house. Or list or sell, that's kind of both. They're going to list their house or they're going to think about purchasing a home. Okay, would that be valuable?
Yes.
The concept I keep coming from on that, this is, it's not a silver bullet, but what it is that technology is leverage. So let's say your goal is, I'm gonna try to get an appointment every day. Like that's your goal. I'm gonna call as many people as it takes. Some people, that may take 20 calls. Some people, it may take 40 calls. Well, imagine you could cut that in half and get the same result. Or do the same activities and get double the results. That's the idea here with the likely to list. And so that's coming. We're gonna talk about how to set up your command database to get you ready for that. Because it takes some extra data, it takes people getting on your consumer platform, those sorts of things. So anyway, r19zoom.com, if y'all wanna sign up for it, it is next Thursday. And in addition, or keep saying, is it Wednesday or Thursday? Why is my brain?
Thursday,
Thank you.
yeah.
But if you can't make it, I'm gonna send you the recording afterwards. So you have nothing to lose. So, and it doesn't cost anything. If you've got a friend who's not with Keller Williams who would like to join, they're welcome to as well. So it's there for everybody. We've already got over 400 people signed up. Super excited about them. So, command app. Does everybody know what this is? Have y'all heard of this? Okay. If you don't have your command app, you may want to take some of our time today and go ahead and download it. You'll find it at the App Store, Google Play. The reason why is we're going to talk about internet leads, specifically through Facebook. And guess what? This will tell you when you've received leads and you'll be able to easily follow up with them quickly. And so not having your command app can make it very challenging for you to be able to take advantage of what they call speed to lead, which is the idea that a lead comes in, you have a certain number of minutes basically to contact them for best results. Okay. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? We're going to go through a lot and a little. I'm going to teach you guys how to bake a cake, is basically what today is going to be about. Now, what I mean by that is there's certain ingredients that are required to make a basic cake. If we're just saying like a yellow cake is like the basic cake, I'm going to teach you guys how to make a yellow cake. However, if you want to make a chocolate cake later, you add your own ingredients, but you got to know how to make the base cake. If you want to go and do a German chocolate cake, a lot more steps. You can do that later, but we're going to show you how to make a cake today. I'm going to show you kind of what that cake should taste like as well, with best practices and guardrails and all that. So we're going to go through a quick overview of lead sources and how they fit into your business. This is important because who here has done tons of internet leads? Anybody? One. Perfect. That is actually a good thing because people think that Facebook leads, Google, all this, that they're like a silver bullet. I'm going to tell you guys, it's just a different game, okay? Doing open houses is one game, doing sphere of influence is one game, doing internet leads is just a different game, different timescales, different conversations. I'm going to show you guys some case studies for recent ads that are working. Okay, these are ads that have been within the last couple of months, last few months actually at this point. And pretty much I'm going to show you all the cake recipe that works is what we're getting to. Best practices for running a Facebook ad. We're going to do a live walkthrough of choosing a smart plan and designing an ad. So everybody here has different behaviors. If we sat down and we did personality profiles, I guarantee y'all aren't all going to have the same personality profile. People go, oh, real estate agents are all the same. They are not. I've been in this 12 years. Y'all are not the same. We are not the same. That's just human beings, right? Some of you may really like picking up the phone, smiling and dialing, and you will go until your fingers fall off in your mouth. You cannot speak anymore. Some of you that may give you so much anxiety that you literally break out an anaphylactic set of hives and you need an EpiPen, okay? Like all of these are very normal, and so we'll talk about what that looks like. And then I also want to give you guys really some expectations around what you're going to receive as far as future business from this, okay? I don't want anybody leaving today and being like, well, Patrick said I could do this and then I got this out of it. Like I want to give you guys realistic expectations. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Do these sound like some great things for us to learn today?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that anybody would like to add around this same topic?
I don't know if it's the same topic, but I would
Okay.
like to understand the app a little more because someone sent me a referral the other day. For the life of me, I wasn't near my computer and I couldn't figure out how to get to it and it expired.
Add that to the list. We will talk about that because they changed something when Kelly moved over and I've heard that with a couple people. And so you should be able to get to it through the email notification, but anyway, we can look at that. You're welcome. All right, so this is a big one. This is something I do with every class that I teach, guys. I want us to remind ourselves that today is about progress, not perfection. I guarantee that you're not going to be the top tier best person in the world at this. As someone who's done thousands of dollars in internet leads and had mixed results on them, I can tell you that the only way to learn on this is just to start small, prepare to lose it all. Okay. And what I mean by smart small, I'm talking $25, $50 at a go. We're not talking thousands. Okay. I've just accumulated that over a long period of time. Also, I promise everybody here in the room is at a different level of comfortability when it comes to technology and systems and everything. And that's perfectly fine. So once you give yourself a little grace, learn a little bit today and we'll move forward from there. Has anybody in here been in real estate, say more than, or rather, let me rephrase that question. Who here has been in real estate more than 3 years? Okay, all right. So we've got some newer people and we've got some folks who have been here longer. Y'all that have been in real estate a little longer, have y'all had a Facebook page in that time period? Okay, if you have some challenges today, then you may need a little bit of help because Facebook changed how they connect some things and there's some stupid back-end plumbing that you have to fix sometimes if you had a business page for longer. So if you can't run ads, feel free to reach back out to me and we can figure out how to get that untangled, if that makes sense. I don't want you leaving frustrated and being like, well, this is a great idea, but I can't even run an ad. You're like so many other people that have dealt with this. So another thing, let me see about this. Does anybody feel like this real estate market's a little bit chaotic? How have y'all been feeling with this whole everything that's been going on? Not to name it without naming it. How are y'all feeling? Not good? Some anxiety?
Trying to stress us out?
Huh?
You trying to stress us out?
No, I'm not trying to stretch you out.
Yeah, pretty anxious.
Okay.
Stabbed in the back a little bit.
Stabbed in the back a little bit? Yeah. There's a lot of feelings going around. You can, I'm not gonna name any specific Facebook groups. I'm sure y'all can probably figure it out, but there's a couple of them that I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, y'all don't even need to be talking about this stuff on this. This is legal stuff. And I know you're fired up and all I'm gonna say is there's a lot of people who are gonna choose to get out of real estate. This is a good opportunity for you guys. That's the same thing that I say every time there's a shift in the market. First, we had COVID. I say first. We've had a gazillion shifts. I've been in this. I got wrapped up in the 2008 housing crisis and my house got flipped upside down. I bought it for 80,000. It was worth 19. I walked away. Okay. That was my first home. Sorry. The foreclosure's gone now, but still I got wrapped up in that. So, after 2008, there were other things that happened, but more recently we had COVID. That made the market very different for a while. And back then I was a market center administrator. So I ran a Keller Williams office with my team leader and we had many agents decide to quit just because they were like, there's no way I can sell. Well, they should have seen a little further down the horizon because they would have made more money than they ever expected in their life. I know many people who cleaned up and made $1 million that year. Okay. Or those couple of years, they made $1 million back to back. Now they're freaking out because the market slowed down because they don't know how to sell in a market that is not like that. Okay, so it's another shift. Interest rates, because of that, we saw inflation, interest rates went up, Fed trying to put it down, good, bad, or indifferent, how you feel, it is what it is. However, I have heard, and y'all can correct me on this if y'all haven't heard this, I've heard that the Fed's looking at 2 more rate decreases this year. Okay? That happens or not, we'll see. The other interesting thing, if you go back through, what is it, the economic part of family reunion, Gary and Jay go through this, and Ruben go through this segment on how the pricing of interest rates actually work, and there's like float. They're starting to see that come closer together, and actually, if the banks feel more confident, even at current federal interest rates, we could see rates drop considerably. So all that's to say, there's a lot of people out there who are gonna go, this is too much churn for me, I quit. It's just too much. Guys, that's your chance. That's all I'm getting at in this. So embrace the chaos, even in your own life and your own business is fine. It will be okay. All right, let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about some fun stuff here. So, 4 laws of lead generation. These are some of my favorite things. Now, this does not apply just to real estate. This applies to any business ever. I promise you. The reason I also mentioned that I'm a published science fiction writer is because that is another business that I run. It has a product. I sell books instead of houses. It is no different. I also build a database. I feed it every day. I communicate with it in a systematic way, and I service the leads that come my way. Building my database may be my newsletter, my Facebook page, my TikTok, or whatever in that space. Feeding it every day, getting more people to join, getting more people to interact, communicating, lots of ways that you can do that. And servicing the leads, at least for my writing, that goes through Amazon mostly, okay? It's no different in real estate. We build a database. Many of us have our phones, right? We came into real estate. We may have met people over the course of our life. We have our phone, we have contacts. We can bring those in, and then we can filter those contacts over time and pay them for gold. Kind of the way I like to think about it. We acquire all these relationships. Not everybody is somebody we want to do business with them. But there's a good chance that people could still send us business. Like, my parents are probably not going to move ever again. Okay, they say that they are. They probably aren't. However, do they send me business? Yes. Do they help me get and send referrals to people? Yes. Oh, I was talking to so-and-so the other day, and they're thinking about looking at a house. I was like, what's their name? Let me talk to them. Let me see if I can connect them with a great agent. No different, okay? So build a database, feed it every day. 2 sides to the feeding it in real estate. One side we're going to talk about today. The other side is something you can do all the time, okay? Feeding it means adding more contacts or adding more information. That's what the 2 sides to that are. Told you I'm a super big nerd here. We've already covered part of that, but does anybody remember basic geometry? Anybody remember some geometry? Do you remember how to calculate the volume of a cube?
Yes. Length times width times height.
Thank you. Yes, length times width times height. So imagine your database is a cube. You have number of contacts, you have amount of information, and you have depth of relationship. And the more that you add to any one of these, the bigger your cube is going to get, and it's going to increase the volume, which is your earning potential. Okay, does that make sense? So as we're feeding our database, we can also increase many-fold the worth of it based on factors and adding more information, adding more people, and so on. Communicating it with a systematic way, smart plans, 36 touches, 8x8s, 12 directs, all these things we talk about here at Keller Williams. Basically, you have a systematic way to touch these people based on how they ended up in your world. Okay, if it's an open house, you're not going to use the same follow-up plan as somebody you've known for 20 years. Okay, person you've known for 20 years, they probably get your newsletter, they probably get some stuff about their house. You probably call them once a quarter just to check in and see how things are going. But a brand new person that you meet at an open house, you're probably dialing until you get them to respond, seeing if you can set them up on property alerts for similar houses if they didn't want that property, and so on. And then servicing the leads, guys, y'all know how to do that. When somebody says, come list me, everybody here ready to go? If I said, I got somebody that wants to list our house today, how many people in this room would be like, can I talk to them? Yeah, exactly. So, all right, here's the fun stuff. Now, can y'all see any of this? Is there too much glare on this? Or can you all see pretty good? Okay, awesome. I said that I was gonna talk about systems, models, and tools today. This is in the model space, and then we are gonna talk about how this makes sense in a minute with the actual how-to on the Facebook ads. I wanna give you guys some framework around different types of leads online, especially. So oftentimes you'll hear people talk about top of the funnel leads, bottom of the funnel leads. Top of the funnel leads don't know they have a need in their life. Bottom of the funnel leads, they're ready to do something about it right now, okay? Top of the funnel leads are gonna count things like Facebook, or actually now TikTok is in this category, because you can run TikTok ads through command as well. And this is what they call disruptive marketing. Disruptive marketing is, we're gonna throw stuff in your feed. If you're interested in it, you're gonna interact with it. If you're not, you're not. And those platforms track all that information. They go, user 5678935, you're interested in homes now all of a sudden. So every time somebody runs an ad about homes, we are going to offer those to you because we think it's in your area, you're interested in this, and this is what you're looking at. Okay, it's no different than, for a while, I was looking for dress sneakers. I was trying to find a pair of dress sneakers I liked. And for about 3 months, all I saw was ads for Bruno Mars and Cole Haan. And there's actually, my name's Jeremy Fitzpatrick Mauldin. There's a J Fitzpatrick shoes, by the way, that sell really nice dress sneakers and like all these different things all the time. Then all of a sudden it changes something else. So they've got all this back end stuff. All of that is to say, nobody goes to Facebook to look at houses. But because of the way that those kind of leads work, they're very inexpensive. So as long as you can give them something pretty and interesting and create curiosity, they're gonna click on it, you're gonna capture their information. The other thing about Facebook, and like I said, I need to add TikTok to this as well, Facebook and TikTok they include lead forms. This is a big piece of leverage for you guys. Lead forms are pre-filled by the platform, and basically all the user says, I accept to share my information, which means they don't have to actually type anything in. There's so little friction. You put up a really pretty looking house on some huge plot of land or on a lake or a really nice, house in a neighborhood. It may be very conforming looking, but it's nice shot or great kitchen. They're gonna go, I want more information. They hit accept before they even know that they did it. Okay? And you get their information. Because it's the information they gave that platform to sign up, it's probably real information. Okay? So that's top of the funnel. Those usually come in about $1.50 to $2.50 CPL, which means cost per lead. And that's usually a pretty good price. Now, these are 1% to 2% conversion, 2% probably on the high end of this. They usually take about 12 to 18 months on average to close. That is not much different than if you say are a Boomtown user and you do Google pay-per-click, or you are a Sync user and you do Google pay-per-click. There's a top team in our region, not in Atlanta, they're in Middle Tennessee. And they said that their average between the time a lead comes in and they convert it is 425 days. So if you run a few of these ads and you're like, it didn't work, and that was last month that you started running them, you probably just hadn't been playing the game long enough. That's why I want to give you guys some framework on this. This is not instant results. This is not a Zillow lead. This is not a realtor.com lead. Those are further down the funnel because those platforms have spent a lot of time and money nurturing those people for months to get them to that point. Further down the funnel, we're looking at Google Ads. This is what they call PPC or pay-per-click. So every time that somebody clicks on your ad, you go to your website, you're paying for it. Now, pay-per-click are a little harder to track because you have to get them to register or take an action after they click. So you may pay $1 per click, but it may take you 30 clicks to get someone to register. You get where I'm going with that? So oftentimes, and I put CPL on here, they really call it CPR. That just sounds terrible, but which is cost per registration. So how many clicks have to happen before we get a registration on their website, and then that registration becomes a lead. Now, I've heard it all over the place. I've heard some agents in North Georgia that get them for as little as $6 cost for registration. And I've heard them as high in like Metro Atlanta as $35 cost per registration. It's very market dependent. It can be very expensive. It can be not as expensive. But it's further down the funnel. These people typically do close a little quicker than Facebook, but not dramatically so. And the data is kind of, the jury's kind of out.
So if you get hyper local on that, it gets a little less expensive, and then some words are going to be less expensive than other words.
Absolutely. It is an optimization game for sure. You can't just go, okay. Like, this is some of the dumbest ones that people buy, like, homes for sale in Atlanta. Like, how does that benefit you guys? Like, what, like, really, what does that do? What would be a better search terms? I mean, y'all live here. What, if somebody was wanting to move to like Beaufort or this part of, this part of the state, what would y'all probably pick?
Lake Homes in Beaufort on Lake Lanier.
There you go. That's a good one. Actually, and lakes do really well on Google pay-per-click. Anything like that. The cheap ones I was talking about were in Blue Ridge. They don't pay a lot because Blue Ridge, Blairsville, I mean, it's just, I mean, who doesn't want to own a property up there kind of thing. So people do it out of curiosity. They go, we've always thought about getting a second house. We could probably Airbnb it. These conversations people have. Let's see, homes for sale in, and that's how they end up in the funnel. So it's more expensive. They do convert quicker-ish, but the funny thing is the conversion rates aren't ridiculously higher. They cost a lot more, but they're not ridiculously higher. So you have to weigh that on your own. The next one comes down is aggregators. That's going to be your Zillow. That's going to be your Realtor. That's going to be any of those websites that take our MLS feeds, basically market to consumers directly, and then sell those leads back to you. That's what those exist for. That's what they are. And it's usually a 20 to 30%, really usually 30% or more. I think it's funny, they call it a success fee. That's the new industry term for it, not a referral. It's a success fee. And you can make a lot of money doing aggregator leads. Big caveat though. If you are not super hungry, you will not make money at aggregator leads. And what I mean by that is they are looking at everything that you do. If they send you a lead and you don't call that person and track information within a certain time period, they will not send you a lead again. So people will be like, I don't get any leads from Zillow. It's because you didn't work it. And they track everything because they're like those personal injury attorneys, then they'll be like, we don't get paid unless we win for you. Like, it's the same thing here. If you don't win for them, you don't get paid, they don't get paid. So that's the whole where the model has changed. Y'all noticed the past couple of years, for anybody who's been here a little bit longer, that Zillow went away from Premier Agent where you paid X number of dollars per month. Now they moved to this flex model. Flex model is success fee. You pay a referral. So they're only going to send the referrals to people who can convert. It's no different than if you were running a real estate team. Who are you going to give leads to? You've got 5 people on the team. Agent number 1 closes 80% of the time, and then the rest of them close 20 or 30% of the time. Agent number 1 is going to get most of your leads. That's just how it works. Now you may give the other ones a chance because they need a chance to prove themselves, but if they can't, they're out. And you may just kind of, what is the old joke with some part-time jobs and stuff, like we took you off the schedule. We didn't fire you. We just didn't have any hours for you. That kind of thing. That's where this goes. And then personal referrals. Okay, we're talking, agent to agent referrals. Those, of course, are further down the funnel. Any questions on this? Does this make sense here?
What does GCI stand for?
Gross commission income. Yep. So that's going to be, if you have a $300,000 deal and you negotiate whatever percentage for the buyer or seller to pay, however that agreement is written, it's going to be that before any referrals, before anything, that's the full commission that you get before splits with the market center and things like that. Yeah, your gross commission income. They take it from the top, meaning if that aggregator, if it ended up resulting in a $10,000 commission, This is an example. And they have a 30% success fee, you made $7,000. Then it comes back to the market center, whatever splits that you have or any other things. So all of this is to say the Facebook ads actually have a really high return on investment. Meaning you can spend $100, or rather, let's back it up a little. Let's say you get them for $2 a piece. Let's say you have a 1% rate of return. You could spend $200 and get a sale. That's not a ton of money when we're talking about internet leads. All right, so ad leads. This is actually what we're talking about specifically today. Let's see, sure we're good. Okay. So ad leads are a low-cost means to fill the top of your real estate funnel, but they are by no means a method to replace your sphere, but only to help build it over time. Nobody comes into real estate with the sphere of influence. I want everyone to hear this. You may have people you know, but you build your sphere of influence over time because people have to know that you're the person to call when they have a real estate need. Facebook ad leads take less time and time and patience to convert. The leads are not looking to buy a house in most cases. So the conversation does not go something like, hey, I saw that you clicked on this house. You want to go see it today? That's a really awkward conversation for someone that was flipping through houses on the toilet. Okay, and I'm just being transparent. It is a reality that that's what people do. Better conversations are things like this. I saw that you clicked on my ad on property on so-and-so. I'm looking to get feedback from my seller. I'm curious, what did you like about it? 99% of them are going to be like, what house? They're not even going to know they clicked on something. And you'd be like, oh, let me send it back over to you. Oh, it was that one. Yeah, I liked it because of X. Awesome. You're just trying to open the conversation. If they can give you direct feedback, then there's a good chance they may be thinking about real estate a little bit more. And you can say, hey, I don't want to be too obnoxious or anything here, but if you were looking for a property, what would that criteria be? I would love to set you at least up on a property alert so that you could know if something came on the market that fits your needs. And then you start the conversation, you continue to drip over time and get to know them a little bit more. They can also be a great means to provide value to your sellers as part of your seller's presentation. So when you're sitting down with the seller going, hey, I want to list your house, and you're like, what all can you offer me? Because I'm interviewing 37 agents. They're not. They're interviewing you and maybe one other person. But they're going to say, what can you offer me? You can say, well, as part of working with me, when you work with me, what we're going to do is we're going to run some Facebook ads on your property. Part of it is to gauge interest on the condition of the property and the pictures and everything. And so in most cases, we end up getting about 50 potentially interested buyers. You can word that however you're allowed to legally. I'm not your broker. Okay, I'm not your broker on this. But all of that is to say you can make it part of your value proposition. What are days on market looking like for you guys right now? Are they still pretty low?
About 28. I mean, obviously it's price point and specific area location,
But on average, less than a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like the 3 days it was like height of COVID, or even like 2 days, some of those, which reeling back, if I had a time machine, I would probably go shake every agent I could by the shoulders who said that open houses are stupid and say you should be doing open houses. Because the few agents I know who did open houses got, like, in some cases, 100 leads from one open house. Okay, who could do that now? Not as many. You can still get some pretty good open house leads. I was speaking to an agent recently. Who was it? Randy Welch. I don't know if anybody knows Randy. He's over in Swanee. I'm like, hang on a second. I'm thinking the market center name, not the actual physical location. He's over in Swanee. He got like 80 leads in an open house a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So if you're not doing open houses, if anybody here needs leads, an open house is a great one to do. And guess what? It doesn't have to be your house. Go get permission. Ask someone in your market center has a listing. Go do some open houses. They're great. And there's actually a new thing where you can do open house landing pages. If y'all hadn't seen that with your KW site, it's like a /open house and that's it. You create a landing page, it captures, you can set it up to a smart plan. Somebody wonderful right here could help you out with that. So all of that is to say there's a lot of value that can be had in here. On the seller piece though specifically, I've been in real estate 12 years. I have seen many different markets. I remember when it was 7 months on average in Birmingham. I don't know, maybe it wasn't quite that bad, but it was pretty bad for a while. And you would sometimes have listings that would expire on time because that was just the end of it. So one of the things that sellers would say is, okay, well, how are you gonna market my property? This would be an additional means to be able to say, oh, well, we're gonna do this as well. Now, in this current market, you may not even get the opportunity to have the ad before they've already put it up for, they've already got it under contract, but we have to present contracts until closing, right? So this could still be an opportunity. So, all right, all this is to say, guys, that's a silver bullet. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's a silver bullet. This is not a silver bullet. This is just another way to help build your business. They talk about the rule of three at Keller Williams, when we go through and we interview top teams, and in the rule of three is, what are your three primary sources of leads? They interview thousands of teams, thousands of individuals. Guess what those top three are? You're curious.
Database.
Sphere of influence,
Database and sphere of influence, that's one.
Facebook ads.
No,
There's no open houses?
open houses is number two.
Referrals?
Internet leads is number three. Yeah, so it is number three. Funny enough, expireds, for sale by owner, those are usually, I'm not saying they're not sources of business, they're not primary sources of business. Because if you're trying to get hundreds of leads, it is really hard to find hundreds of for sale by owner leads. You may see that yard sign when you're driving by and go, I need to call them, but it's different than just being able to aggregate these. Does that make sense? Like a larger scale. Okay. There's an exercise that I teach in other classes, and then we'll jump into the Facebook piece. I'll show you how to bake a cake, as I said. But there's something I call the buckets exercise. And one of the things I got frustrated with in teaching command for a long time is people would say, hey, what kind of tags do I need to have in my database? How do I need to segment my database? How do I need to organize this? And what I discovered is that every top team had a system. No one had the same system. So I decided to take all the best pieces and give something everybody can use. Okay, and this is where the buckets came from. And it's this idea that your database basically has three buckets. You got your core database, either know, like, and trust. Past clients, sphere of influence, raving fans. Like, those are the most important people you have. These are people we want to stay in relationship with. The next bucket over, though, is leads. That's what we're talking about today. And your leads bucket is, I want to convert this person into somebody who knows, likes, and trusts me. So you're trying to get them to jump that bridge right there. Then the rest of them are cold. Cold are, I don't know who the heck this person is. We connected at some point. What do I do with this? Don't delete them. Is basically what I'm saying, because we have some strategy around it. Don't delete them. Your first instinct, and I'm not poking at you because we were just talking about clearing out things. Specifically saying don't delete them because there's strategies, especially if you have email addresses and phone numbers already, physical addresses too. You can pretty much run what they call neighborhood nurture introduction. And there was an agent in North Fulton that put 1,600 contacts on the neighborhood nurture introduction. And she ended up getting 3 listings within 2 weeks. So there's strategies for dealing with that.
Thank you, because what I've started doing is archiving them, and then I'm gonna go back so many at a time and decide what to do. And I was wondering if you had a smart plan for that, or
I
I've just
do.
been calling them saying, hey, I know we talked a couple of years ago, never met them Facebook lead.
Yep.
And I'm converting some that way, but it's slow.
Yep. And that's still a good strategy too. I mean, just reach out to them. The only time, in my opinion, you should just absolutely delete someone from your database is if they tell you to, okay? If they're like, I don't want to ever hear from you again, you jerk, you stupid blood-sucking real estate agent.
What if it's your wife?
Well, so there's this great thing called counseling. Okay? It does wonders for relationships to help you communicate. Things like active listening exercises, like what I hear you saying is that you love your wife very much and you would like a better way to communicate with her.
Absolutely.
But yes, if anybody's curious, if you want to look up the smart plan I'm specifically talking about on the cold ones, it's called Neighborhood Nurture Introduction. It's by Jessica Borden. And
Write it down.
yep, write it down. Jessica Borden is the one who did it, and it's called Neighborhood Nurture Introduction. What it does, it is the simplest smart plan. It sends an email on day one that says, hey, by the way, I set you up on this property search. Gives you this great information about your area. If it's not correct, let me know. And on day two, it sends them the neighborhood nurture. Well, what you do before you send it is you just make sure that they're assigned a neighborhood. And you know what? You want to get it wrong. You want it to be wrong. Because you want them to get information about not where they live, so that they go, hang on a second, that's not where I live. And you're like, okay, well, where do you live? You start a conversation with cold lead. Does that make sense? Just about
His last name?
Borden, Borden. It's a great one.
Question about the neighborhood nurture since you brought it up.
Mhm.
So is it ever gonna go away from like feeding neighborhoods from next door? Is that ever gonna change? Because.
Excuse me. That, I was like, took a second. Yes and no. So they're gonna give you additional options is what they're gonna do. So neighborhoods will still be part of it. I don't think they're getting rid of neighborhoods, but they will, they're also gonna add school attended zones, zip codes, city, other boundaries. I think they've even discussed making like custom boundaries, meaning you could create your own and then say, I want custom boundary 5. And it goes, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
all of that is on the roadmap and in development. I ask about it all the time with KWRI, David Voorhees and the labs team, and it's always, we are currently working on that. And so last roadmap I looked at, it was in 2024. When that will be? Good question. So anyway, yeah. All right, case studies, and then we're gonna walk in and we're gonna do this. Here's a couple of case studies that I do have. So this Facebook ad right here, and I told you, and we're gonna learn how to bake a cake. Okay, the ads, do not overthink them. The house sells itself. Okay, that is literally what this comes down to. Now, this one, they got leads for 92 cents a lead. Now, this is a unique property. Okay, this had land and two homes on it. I can't tell from the picture. I think they might be, the bottom one may be a manufactured home. The top one, I think, is actually on a slab. But these two homes are being sold together for one incredible price. Both homes are being sold together for $349,900. Now, this ad did one thing I'm gonna recommend you don't do. That's put the price on it. My recommendation is you never put the price on the ad, you never put the address on the ad. Those are two parts of the cake. Those are two ingredients we don't need. We want people to be curious about what the cake tastes like. We don't want them to know what it tastes like and then go to another website and get some cake. Okay, we want them to come to you. It says, click learn more for photos and pricing information. Learn more. That is a good one. That is a good description to put on the bottom. Picture's okay. It's not bad, but 2 homes for sale. They did $100 and they got 99 leads. Would anyone feel like that was a successful campaign? 1 to 2% rate of conversion. Guess what? If all these were worked the way that they should be worked, then the person who ran this basically in the next year, within the next year, is going to get at least 1 closed unit out of that. Next up, this one was in Huntsville, Alabama. Anybody ever been to Huntsville? Very cool place, by the way. And it is now, believe it or not, it is the largest metropolitan area in Alabama, which is crazy. I grew up in Birmingham, and Birmingham is Birmingham, but now Huntsville is. And so Huntsville also put people on the moon. So anybody that thinks Alabama people are stupid, we're not. This one was a multi-listing ad. This one actually, I think, had 10 listings that were involved in it. You can see this whole list right here. They went for a pretty wide area, but they ended up getting 72 cents cost per lead. Now, there is only 5 leads on this because the only screen capture that I had for them was when they just started this. This was within the first 3 hours of starting the ad. Okay, so in 3 hours, they got 5 leads at 72 cents a piece. And the agent told me that it continued to be about the same. Okay, so what she did, she is in Huntsville. What she did is she got permission from multiple agents within her market center following her broker's rules. Of course, I'm not your broker, guys. If y'all have different rules here, then just ignore what Patrick says. She got written permission from them would it be okay if I ran a Facebook ad and included your property? And she got it from all of these agents, and that's what she ran. So,
So she did 10 homes. What was it? Just, how did it show up? Just
like that
screens?
over there, it's a carousel. So the first home that showed up was it's this first property. And then you could keep going and just keep looking. It was kind of like how a Temu or Wish ad shows up on, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, like how they'll have product ads like that where you can kind of keep scrolling, very similar on that. Yeah.
You know, sometimes with the carousel ads, if I understand it correctly, they will shift the picture.
Correct.
Like they'll put a different one on the, like in the primary slot.
Yep, so Facebook is very smart on the back end and it will go, what's performing best? After it gets a little bit of data and it can shuffle them. So it's not gonna stay necessarily in the same order, it's gonna optimize for performance. At the end of the day, Facebook wants you to get great results out of this so that you go spend more money with them for ads, okay? They're not being paid to give you bad results. They wanna actually give you better results. So yes. I think I had one more. Did I have one more? No, I didn't. So they mostly kind of fit into that space. So here's the basic recipe and we'll actually go through the how-to on this. So a visually appealing property or property photos. So front, kitchen, lake, waterfront, land, a view of some kind. The best ad that I have seen was 16 cents per lead. And the way that they got that, it was literally a picture of a boat dock. That's all it was on like a lake that a lot of people like to move to. I can't remember what lake it was. It was just a boat dock. And it was basically like X number of beds and bath on whatever lake, this many acres for pricing and information, click learn more. That was it. And so people were very interested. They wanted to see, oh, hang on a second. Now, that could have been a situation where maybe there's some special rules on that lake where nobody can add docks anymore, like my parents have. Live on a lake, and that's one of the things. Nobody can add docks anymore. That's against the rules, but the old ones are grandfathered in. So it's very desirable to have a property that already has one. So I don't know. There could be some other things at play, but 16 cents. No price, no address, create FOMO. So that's fear of missing out for anybody who may not know the acronym. Keep the text simple, focus on best features, and also be open to A/B testing several images. Now, what I mean by A/B testing is, I'm gonna put, say, a picture of the front of the property, I'm gonna run 2 ads simultaneously. This one has a picture of the front, this one has a picture of the kitchen. Both are really pretty, which one works better? Okay, you watch and you see what the cost per lead is on either. Whichever one is performing worse, you cancel that ad and you just let the other one keep running. Okay? And yeah. So let's get back over into command. Any questions so far?
Do you have a minimum length of time or budget for A/B testing?
That's a great question. And I get a lot of different answers on that. I would say be ready to run an ad for the A/B testing piece. I'll run it for a few days before you cancel it, but be ready to run the ad for at least 5 days, at least $5 a day kind of thing. So if you're gonna A/B test, you're probably looking at $50. You run 2 $25 ones. If by day 3, one of them is just performing absolutely atrociously, then just cancel it and let the other one just keep running. You could even increase its budget if you wanted to. Yep. So a couple things you're gonna need to get started inside of paid ads, and actually I'll zoom out a little bit to give us a little bit more space. You're gonna need a Facebook page that is compliant with your brokerage. Okay, I cannot tell you how to do that. I cannot tell you what needs to be on there, but I'm sure your broker or your MLS or whatever has all of the guidelines to know what needs to be on your Facebook page. Okay, probably has things like your picture, probably has things like the legal recognized entity for the brokerage. Do y'all all fall under Keller Williams Atlanta Partners? Is that how it shows? Okay, so there you go. You gotta have the logo on and all that kind of stuff, like whatever those rules are. So you've got to have already connected to that at some point and created that. Now, this is where it gets a little more complicated for those folks who have been in this a little longer. And if you do have any troubles, or you talk to someone in the market center and they're like, I tried to run Facebook ads, I can't get them to work. Okay, this is something I hear all the time. Meta is very annoying to work with. Okay, Meta changed a lot of rules a little while back, and those rules made it harder to connect pages. What I've discovered, getting belly to belly with a lot of agents, is you oftentimes top producers will go, I need a Facebook page, I'm not a techie person. No one's probably ever heard this conversation before. I'm not a techie person, I just like selling houses. So, hey, I've got this friend whose daughter's really good at this stuff. I'm not picking on women particularly, I'm just using this as an example. She's really good at social media. So I'm just gonna get her to set up my Facebook page for me. Well, she does, has all the correct branding on it. From the outside, it looks perfect, but on the inside, it's owned by this person. It is maintained by this person, and Facebook says it's this person's thing, not this agent's. And so maybe they just set it up and they walk away, or maybe that person works as an admin for the mega agent for a while, they get cross and they never want to talk to each other again. Guess who still owns the page? This other person over here. Then you try to run Facebook ads in Command. Command's like, I'm sorry, you're not an administrator on this page. And you go, yes, I am. You're not, but you are, but you're not. So there's these levels of permissions that happen in the background. You have to be the owner of the Meta Business account. You have to, the Meta Business account has to be the owner of the page. The page has to have an ads account connected to it, and you have to be the administrator. So there's a lot of pieces that have to fall in line. Now, someone in your market center resembles this, where they had someone else set it up and they're no longer the owner of their page. There is a process you can go through with Facebook where you give them a picture of your driver's license and you pull some other information, and it usually takes a couple months for it to get resolved. Okay, so there's a path. It's just not an easy path to get it resolved. So you have to have a Facebook page, Facebook business page. Anytime you want to do anything with paid ads inside Command, we go to campaigns, which is where you're going to find paid ads, where you can do emails. The emails in here will be kind of constant contact, Emma, MailChimp-ish, you know, they're like email blasts, direct mail, and then social posts. Inside of Command, there's a thing that'll say Facebook post schedule. That is not what you guys want. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. Facebook post scheduler is basically, I want to have this picture of this listing go out tomorrow at this time and post it to my business page. We're running ads. This is different. So you can say create campaign, click paid ads, and it's going to bring us to a new control type. All right, and actually, I'm going to try to scroll this out a little bit so we can see more of them. All right. Here are all the different ad channels and the different ad types that we can create inside of Command. Ones with the blue little tag or chip or whatever you want to call it down at the bottom. All of those include a form. Another one that includes a form now is TikTok. Okay, you can run TikTok ads through here. Is any,
The screen does not look like that.
your screen does not look like, what does yours look like?
So I'm on campaigns dashboard, right?
And you hit create, and then it'll pay, you click on paid ads.
Oh,
after you
create campaign?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that part. Thank you.
It's a little odd how you get to it the first time.
Okay.
And does anybody here do any TikToks? Anybody here familiar with TikTok? You do TikToks? Okay, so FYI, if you want to do TikTok ads, you can. Anybody else can here. The cool thing about it is you don't have to be a TikToker to run ads on TikTok.
So when you get to campaigns, you click create campaign and then where do you go?
Paid ads. I
How do
will.
the- Sorry,
No.
how do the TikTok ads work?
So I'm gonna give a quick overview of this, and then we're gonna go to the Facebook ones. I just want y'all to be familiar with it because TikTok ads work like Facebook. When they hit learn more, it pops up with a, hey, by the way, here's your information. Do you want to share it? Most users click accept without even looking at anything. And then they go look at the house, meaning you're probably gonna get real information. TikTok ads. For anybody who hasn't done TikTok, you don't have to be a TikToker to run TikTok ads. You don't even have to have a TikTok business page. All you do is have to have a TikTok formatted video. And if you don't go through and scroll through TikTok, you may not know what I'm talking about. There's a certain format of the way that it's a lot more entertainment focused than just like, hey, by the way, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, call Patrick Mauldin. It's more like, you know, oh my gosh, did you see this house over here? Come on, let's go inside. Like, that's more, and then it's a quick little video about it. Does that make sense? You gotta make it fun, and that may or may not be you. However, this channel is here. What's a little weird about TikTok ads, and this is a TikTok thing, not a command thing, they're by state. Okay, so you can't target like you for Georgia. You have to target Georgia, which is interesting. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure why that is the case.
Have they got success off of TikTok?
I want people to run these so I can know what success we can
Because
get
what
out
I'm
of it.
thinking is like a lot of people don't go to TikTok, because search engine on TikTok, you don't go to look for houses. Like, that's not what you go to TikTok. for.
But it shows up in your For You feed.
But also your For You is like what you've been looking for, what you've been liking. That's what
Yes,
shows up on.
It
your
will
For You.
still show up in your For You, because this is an ad. So just like the Colgate ad where someone will be like, oh my gosh, you see my, whatever. I was swore for the first 4 or 5 months that I had TikTok that there were no ads on TikTok. I was convinced. I didn't realize that I was being surfaced ads, and they were just, they say sponsored down at the bottom, but
But they look the same.
they look the same. And if you do them right, you never know. Anyway.
So if you go to programs, like, I would have to add new programs?
No, just under dashboard.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, that is just, I'm just making y'all aware of this. What's cool about this is when you actually run the TikTok ads, like I said, you don't have to have a business page. You just basically give it a fake name and it puts the name down there like it's a profile.
So when they click on it, what do they click? Like, it's because I know the ads that I've seen is for like products, like, for TikTok.
Like TikTok
Store.
Shop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
TikTok shop or
This
whatever.
is different. There's actually a learn more button. And when they do it, it goes to whatever landing page you have connected to it. So if it's a property, if it's something about you, if it's a whatever.
Mhm.
Yep. So
Hey,
just
Patrick.
letting you guys know it exists. I would love to see more people dive in and give it a shot.
Patrick,
Yes.
if this is only for me, we can talk about it later. Am
Okay.
I gonna be able to go back and forth between Alabama and Georgia and do these?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep. You probably have 2 business pages, one compliant to here and one compliant to there.
Actually, I finally just changed it to one Facebook
Okay.
page for both.
As long as it's compliant to both, then yes, you could run them in whatever market. Yep. So the cake we're gonna learn how to bake today, I think is the easiest one, is a single listing. Okay, I have one house I wanna promote. And I wanna get leads from it. Now, if you don't have a listing, the least expensive ones are gonna be listing ads, but if you don't have a listing. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm not the broker, okay? Is it okay within y'all's market center to borrow someone's listing to promote it if you have written permission? Is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
Nods ahead, that's okay. All right, so I'm saying that for the rest of the room. Of course, if you have any questions, I'm not your broker. However, generally that is the case. Let's say you borrow a listing and you get correct permission for it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sitting up here like drinking pure caffeine and I'm going, hang on a second, I probably need some actual water so I don't jitter out of my body here. But let's click on single listing. That's gonna be the first one. Now, this one had one of those blue icons on it, meaning that it's gonna use the form inside of Facebook to do this. Now, what's so great about the new ad system is, with the old one, you had to think about interests and areas and like there are all these criteria. It is really simple, guys. You need a listing, you need a little bit of information, you need a landing page, and you're pretty much good to go at that point because Facebook's gonna target the people for you. It knows the people who are interested in looking at houses.
Tell me, what is a landing page? Good question.
I will show you that here in a second. A landing page is essentially you run an ad and you send someone somewhere.
Your website.
So that
It
would
is
be
on your website. So you need your website set up to be able to do this, but you don't have to make a landing page. That's one of the misconceptions. People go, I gotta build a landing page? No. We're gonna use the listing page on your website.
In the command website, the one that.
Correct.
We created that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So please add your listing. Does anybody have a listing that we can use for our example today?
You want one in Alabama?
I don't care where it is.
I have one.
Okay.
Three?
Hmm?
So I don't have to do,
Just give you the address?
Yeah, just give me the address.
1726 Headstone Court.
Edge stone?
Mhm.
Is it one word?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna just put that. Most of the time, it's just like an MLS search, less is best. If you put too much criteria, sometimes you'll end up putting something in there that'll exclude it.
You could also put the MLS number in.
You
there,
could put the
too.
MLS number in. Now, one thing you will see, anything that's also, it has to be an FMLS, great example, there's two of them. Okay, is that the correct property? Okay, so pick whichever one you want. It doesn't matter if it's the Georgia MLS one, the FMLS one, doesn't really matter. We just pick one. I'm just gonna pick that and say done. Now, what it's gonna do is it's gonna target the ads based on the property address by default. If you need to do a custom location, you can, but most of the time, you're gonna target the area the property is. Now, we get down here to media. If you click here, and you will see all the MLS photos that are on here. Now, they may be a little bit difficult to see in that because they're these tiny little icons, but if it's your listing or you've already seen the listing, most likely you know what you're looking for. That's, what is it, a townhouse?
Yes.
Yeah, I would do like,
What do you think?
probably,
This is just a single.
maybe number like 13.
13, okay.
Bathrooms are like updated.
All right. And here's kind of the part where you have to use your best practices realtor hat. You are trying to stop the scroll.
Mhm.
What picture do you think is gonna make someone look? Okay, and it can be random things. Sometimes it can be the back porch, because that may be one, so. Okay, that's a pretty looking shower. I like that. So we could use that. All right, body text. Now, by default, and I think they had to do this for compliance reasons, they had to put city price, number of beds, number of baths. Like I said, my formula is you're not gonna include where it is located or how much it costs. But what you can do, we can click this little magic wand right here, and we can let AI help us write it. So let's see, let's change it to practical. Sure, let's see what that is. Practical. Okay, experience perfection at a home in this meticulously updated 3-level townhome nestled within desirable Rhino community. 3 living room with cozy gas fireplace, that's a welcoming ambiance, granite kitchen countertop, private back, it ran out of space, probably private backyard. Probably. We could write again.
So it takes the description that she put in there and it imports it.
Takes the MLS description,
Okay.
throws it through something like ChatGPT and rewrites it into a format that will work for here. Now, if you don't like it, you can write your own, or you can use this as kind of an inspiration point and just keep letting it go. Let's see, what about emotional? Here we go. Let's see what we got on that. Stunning townhome. Like I said, I would take the price off. For anxious home buyer, what does that mean for an anxious home buyer? What's it? Ooh.
I like the one that was two previous.
It's too bad we can't go back, but hang on a second, but we're under
You're
practical,
unpractical.
so we might be able to meticulously maintain 3-bed bath in a prime cul-de-sac location, sure. Now, one of the things I recommend, try to keep your description short. You know, accentuate the best features. Hit apply, boom, now we've got that. Headline, we're gonna get rid of that. And headline is what goes down there at the bottom. So we already said the beds and baths, so we don't have to reiterate that, but for pricing and information, click learn more, sure. Or click for pricing information, click here. So the FOMO, the cost of admission is you're giving them a pricing and information about the property in exchange for their contact information. Okay,
Oh, so it automatically puts a learn more there on, okay.
It does.
Okay.
and if anybody's curious, learn more. The reason you can't change what's on those buttons is Facebook has literally tested this over billions of clicks. Learn more has the highest response rate of any combination they've tried. Anybody who's run Facebook ads outside of it, I run tons of them for my writing. I've tested other ones. The only one I get people to click on is learn more. Okay, I've tried sign up, I've tried download, I've tried some of the other options. They have contact, message me. Learn more is the only one people will click on. So. Post lead submission destination required. This is the landing page. I'm gonna show you all the easiest way to do this. Patrick, I can't do that.
The easiest way is to put it as a featured listing and copy that URL. Is that what you would recommend?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yep. What was that property address again? What are we on?
1726 Hedgestone Court.
That's right. Stone Court. Now, one of the things to know about how websites have changed, and I don't know if they'll end up changing this. If you search for a property and you can't find it, it's here. But the way that they surface is different than it used to be. It does it based on properties near address. So if you search for it, you may have to scroll down a couple properties to find your property. Does that make sense? I get at least one or two every couple days where people are like, my listings are missing from my KW site. They're not missing, just the way that you search for them has changed. Now that I'm on here, so I'm on here, it's a property page, fantastic. I'm actually just gonna copy this link up here. Just gonna paste it right here. And it gives you this nice little preview. Always click the preview. It'll open a new tab and let you know if you messed up. Okay, because you don't want to run an ad and send them nowhere. Like anything that you do online, if you'll notice, a lot of websites, when they ask for contact information or sign up or something, there's an exchange, okay? They call it a high value content offering. A lot of times they'll be like, sign up for this, get this free thing, whatever. In this space, your high value content offering is you're giving them listing information details. You're not going to do that unless, or rather, you're not making good on your promise unless you actually send them to the correct link. Does that make sense? So you want to make sure you're being good on that promise.
So for that link, you went, tell me how you got your link again, where you copied and pasted it?
I just went to my website and found the
Okay.
property.
Gotcha, okay.
That's all it is. We'll put the URL, I tested it. Now, here's the part we did not cover that I will go back and show you guys how to do, and is the tags and the smart plan. The tag, just do Facebook. I've got one of mine that says, Facebook leads, smart plans. Now, smart plans are automation and command. Not all smart plans are created equal. Not all smart plans are for you. What I mean by that is you're, in many cases, going to get a name, a phone number, and email address. If you're not going to pick up the phone to call them, you probably don't need to put them on a smart plan that requires you to make a lot of phone calls. Does that make sense? If you're only going to email them, then you need to accept the fact you're probably not going to get a 1 to 2% rate of conversion. So when you do this, you want to make sure before we start creating the ad, you picked a smart plan you already want to use. I'll show you guys where to find those, but I have like an email only. Facebook lead follow-up.
So you said if you email them only, what is it?
Your conversion rate will be far lower.
Okay, so I'm confused about this lead setting. So this is, what is this doing?
So if you collect the lead and you don't add a smart plan to it, then basically you've got a lead in command that does nothing. It's just going to sit in your information. Their information will sit in your command account.
So that's if, so you're setting that up as if they're clicking on your page, right? I'm very
They
like,
click on the
they
ad. That's
click
what
on
the
the ad.
form
That's
is
what I
about.
meant.
Yeah. Mhm.
okay, and then that directs it to there.
To the smart plan.
Okay,
Correct. The
okay.
smart plan will begin. So if I see this show up in my feed and I go, huh, I'm curious, that's a pretty bathroom. And I click learn more. It's gonna give me a little pop-up. It's what they call it the Facebook form. It will already be pre-filled with my information. It'll say Fitzpatrick Mauldin, 205-283-3189, fitzpatrickbook@gmail.com. They'd be like, to continue, accept that you're sharing this information. They click accept. That information is sent into command. Your command app will ping you to say you have a new lead and this smart plan will start for that particular contact.
So it's basically.
Oh, to start
telling them-
emailing them
It will
immediately.
start
it's
whatever the
telling
smart
command
plan is
what you
designed to
wanna
do.
With that lead, once it comes in, so it can start an action right away.
Yep. That is what they call in the internet lead space. They call it speed lead. You only have a certain number of seconds to be able to send someone a lead before or send someone, or contact someone when you collect a lead before it evaporates out of their head and they don't know they ever did it. Does anybody remember what they ate for lunch today? Just putting that out there. I do, but only because I made it last night. But, half the time I don't. My wife asked me that. She's like, what did we eat for dinner yesterday? I'm like, I have no idea. She's like, you cooked. I'm like, and? There were no leftovers. So I didn't get a repeat.
Can you add more than just the one email for follow-up?
This particular smart plan, I think, runs over several weeks.
The email does.
Yeah, this is an emails only smart plan, and I'll show you how to pick out one. You've got to pick the one that works for your behaviors and works with your style of follow-up. Because at the end of the day, Gary tells these stories. Y'all probably heard this if you listened to Gary Keller talk about anything. This is one of his favorite stories to tell. He's like, when I got into real estate, I had a shoebox. Has anybody heard this one? Does it sound familiar?
Shoebox with note cards.
And it was full of note cards. And the way I built my business is I just wrote everybody's names and I wrote all their family and their phone number on there. And every day I just opened the shoebox and I pulled the card out of the front and I called that person and I stuck it in the back. And then I called the next person in the front. Well, the reason that system worked is because he actually took the action to pick up the phone. That was well before email was anything. Email was very theoretical at that time. And I think schools had it. And that was about it. It was before Al Gore invented the internet. But anyway, that was a dumb joke. All that is to say, if your behavior is I don't mind picking up the phone, you're probably going to get a better rate of return because you're getting close and you get to a closer emotional proximity with people when you speak to them. If y'all randomly gotten an email from me, by the way, y'all all randomly gotten an email from me, probably at least
This morning.
this morning already?
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the thing, until I got in the room and met some of y'all and we've spent some time together, there was probably zero emotional proximity. If I gotten hit by a truck, y'all would have been like, well, that's sad. Some guy from Keller Williams died. Okay. But been on the phone, taught a class, be like, oh man, I remember it. You get what I'm saying? That's why phone calls, text messages and things like that work better than emails because they kind of break through some of that they get into that more emotional proximity space. Get to the bottom, compliance, DBA, any of that kind of stuff that needs to be added for compliance in your particular market, you go for it. All right, so here's the thing. How much do I need to spend? It's the biggest question I always get. Okay, I said something earlier. I said, start small and what? Do you remember that?
Be prepared to lose it all?
Yes, thank you. That's a good one. I actually took that one from Mark King. He's a leader in Keller Williams. He was our president and he's moved into some different roles, but start small, prepare to lose it all. Meaning, if start $25, start $50. Do know that all the Facebook ads are prepaid. Meaning, the instant you hit proceed, paid whatever the number is, whether they spend it or not. Now, if you get to the end of your campaign and they haven't spent your entire budget, trust me, they will find a way to spend your entire budget. You will get refunded for some of that. Okay, it'll just go back on whatever card it is. All that is to say, this goes all the way up to 500. Do not run a Facebook ad for $500 in command, especially first time doing this. That is not a best practice.
Go big or go home.
No, not in this.
So if you wanted to run it for a month, you would push out the date.
Yep. And if you're gonna run it for a month, let's just say you did.
Okay.
I would say no more than $5 a day. You would no more than 150 for your entire budget, 30 days, just rounding it off to 30 days. Yeah.
So, but if you put it out 30, but then you left the 50, Facebook just runs the ads so many times per month to equal the $50 that you.
It'll chop it up
It'll
into
chop-
the
okay,
days,
okay.
correct, yeah. So if you set an overall budget of $100 and you set it, say, for 30 days, it's going to divide it into less than $5, whatever that is, $3 and something that it would be, and it will just, once it hits
Every
that
other
limit
day.
for the day, it's done. It
Okay.
doesn't show the ad anymore. Yep. It's basically you've set a daily budget is what it said. You can cancel it anytime. What I would recommend though, don't do any big spends, run multiple ads. If you're gonna go, you know what, I'm gonna run, I wanna spend a bunch, a decent amount this month and give it a go, run more ads more often so that you can A/B test. If you're running one ad set, you really don't get a good opportunity to go, well, what's actually happening?
What's working, what's not.
Yeah, it may not be working. It could be working really well, or it may not be working. But I've given you all some guidelines, some benchmarks on that. So if your ads are around $2 per lead on Facebook, you're winning. If they're less, you're really winning. If they're more, the photo may not be great. You may need to change some of your wording. It could be the area. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. They're just more than $2. And it's usually when it is in a more crowded metropolitan area. Y'all are a little bit further out from the main hustle and bustle, so it's probably not gonna be as much of a thing. But if you ran ads saying like in town or Decatur or somewhere closer to city center, there's a good chance you're gonna pay more per lead. That's just something that happens. You would think more people, but then there becomes more competition. And then you end up fighting for space on the feeds, and that ends up making it more expensive. All right, let's see, it's 2:52. Hang on a second. I'm getting blown up here. It is apparently in Alabama. Just a minute ago, it is looking like this. My family in Birmingham. I'm gonna show you guys smart plans real quick, then I would be remiss if I didn't at least go outside and stare at the sky for 4 seconds. So if anybody wants to come out and borrow my glasses, you're more than welcome to get mine. And then any additional questions we have, we can come back in and I can answer them, because I don't have to be back quickly or anything, okay? Is that fair? Does that sound okay? I know, it's one of these events that doesn't come along. I know it's like, let's take a break to go look at the eclipse. I know it's kind of an odd thing. All right.
That's what that is in the search.
Gosh. There we go. Mouse just keeps falling down. All right, so smart plans. So before you run an ad, you gotta have the property you're gonna run, but you have to have a smart plan. These are two things you have to have. If you go over here to smart plans and you go up here to library, this is where you're gonna find them. If you were to search for Facebook, you're gonna find a lot of different smart plans. What I would recommend, especially if you hadn't played around with smart plans, do know that when you download smart plans from the library, most of the time they're not created by Keller Williams. They're created by some agent in some place in the country. And they went, this is a really good idea. I'm gonna go with it. Some names that work pretty well and they're pretty good in the space. Let's see if he still has it up. Tyler Shields runs them at a pretty high level. But I cannot remember if he's got, does he have any more? He may have taken down his Facebook ads off of here. But when you download them, all you have to do is say add smart plan, then look at the steps that are actually included in the smart plan. The email only one that I was using, let's see, emails, Facebook leads, here we go. This one has 7 steps. It takes place over 15 days. You're probably gonna wanna be a little bit more aggressive than just that. Another new thing to note is this is brand new to Command, and you cannot get this when you download a smart plan. You have to turn it on, is auto remove triggers. What this means is somebody responds to an email, it stops asking them, it stops the smart plan, okay? So if your smart plan's like, hey, by the way, we should connect, and then you connect, and then you're like, hey, we should connect, and they're like, what? That takes them off of it. So you can turn these on. But send email, list of homes, so it's like, hi, name of the person. I put a list of homes for sale on Facebook. While I'm sure you're not looking to make a move just yet, I'd like to set up for you, search for you, what areas interest you. Okay, that's just how this one is. This one is all emails. There are no phone calls involved in this one. However, some of them, especially the top producing teams, most of the time they do what is called a 10 days of pain. Okay, you can do some research on this if you want to write that down. They call it 10 days of pain.
Write it down.
Write it down, write it down, write it down.
That's a smart plan?
10 days of pain, there might be some smart plans for it. But
Those
10
are
days
very
of pain,
aggressive.
it is aggressive. It means you call them every single day for the next 10 days.
At
You also
least.
email and text them, and you email and text them. And at the end of it, if they don't respond, you throw them on another smart plan.
Another smart plan.
You run them through the ringer, and if they don't do anything, you stick them on something else. At least a property search, basically. Be like, here's some properties. And if let's say, for example, yours is in Kennesaw, if that listing that you ran the add-ons in Kennesaw, well, then you would probably set them up on searches for homes around that area. If it was in Swanee, you may want to set them up on properties and like find something similar to what the property is you were promoting. If it was Paper Mill Road and it's a $34 million house, well, don't put them on other $34 million houses because they're probably just thought it was a neat house to look at. So, yeah, that's one caveat on this. Has anyone ever driven down Paper Mill? Have y'all seen these homes? So I live in Marietta, East Cobb. We don't live in anything like on that scale. So before you think I make that much money for the region, I don't. But my daughter goes to Soap Creek and we have to pass all those. So we have the wildest stories in our heads about the kind of people that live in those houses. I know one of them actually has, I think 35 bathrooms. I was talking to a contractor one time, so I don't know what you're gonna do with 35 bathrooms, but whatever. I mean, if you're a Colombian drug lord, it's fine. It's just like I said, we just make up stories. Like, I don't know what they're doing. So. Doesn't make sense on the smart plan piece though, okay? The first thing is you gotta learn how to make the ads actually work. So I would just grab like an emails only one just to get the $2 per lead and then work from there. That is the first step. Like I said, this is a cake recipe, guys. This is a cake recipe.
So when you do an ad, it gives you the number and the email, right?
It gives you what information they allow you to see. Usually it is name, phone number, and email address, typically. It can be different though.
So it could be like address?
No address.
No?
No address.
Then what's the other stuff? Their name?
Just name, phone, or email, but sometimes you'll get name and phone number, or sometimes you'll get name and email. Sometimes you'll get something that doesn't look like a name and an email. But it just depends on how they signed up for the platform. Because that's where their information comes
And that
from.
comes through to command.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
command will alert you that somebody
It'll
has.
say you have a new lead, new Facebook lead. It'll give you a push notification if you have the command app set up. If you have calling set up too, and it's got a smart plan and you have a call step, it'll show up in your tasks and you just literally click call in your tasks. Call and at least leave a voicemail. If you leave a voicemail, send them a text message. You know, that kind of thing. Because they inquired on it. All right, let's see, it's almost time on that. So, ensure your face, yes, sir, go for it.
Sorry, just one quick one. On the ones that have forms, I know we had some for listings. Are there any that aren't around listings that have the forms from Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok?
You can, yes, you can run them. They don't necessarily have to be a listing ad. They can be whatever. There's a buyer focused one on there. The only thing is, from our research on this, is that you just don't get a really good rate of return on anything but the buyer ones. If you do the listings, let's say you did a home valuation page, like to the new home eval pages we have, you can do that, just, you're not gonna get $2 per, yeah.
Well, for me, I do the pre-licensed school here, so I'm
Okay.
looking to lead generate and
Yeah.
put people into my funnel around that and run that out of command so that I can drip on them.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm thinking more along, but I wanna have that Facebook form because I have them going to a registration page now and they're not registering, so
You can capture it. Yes, you can do that. yeah.
Okay.
The other thing is, once you brought them in through Facebook, you can also do target my database on those people, and it will send those ads only to those people. There's no form at that point because you're not capturing a lead. You're just retargeting somebody who's already given you their information. But Facebook can find them and connect them with it. So I would recommend that even like, in the listing example, say you've been running ads for a long time and you've collected 1,000 leads from Facebook. Well, how cool would that be to be able to say to your seller, hey, by the way, I've also gathered a list of 1,000 people with Facebook ads over the past year and a half who might still be in the market for looking for a house that I can directly target them in their Facebook feed.
Can you only target people that you acquired via Facebook, or can you do target my database with?
You can do target my database with any email addresses or phone numbers, but the
They may not
success is
be.
limited.
Yeah, because they may not have registered with that email and phone.
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah.
They work best. If you capture them through Facebook, then you know what it is.
Yep.
Yep.
So you recommend to just tag them Facebook lead?
Mhm. Then you can easily go back to them later if you need to. Mhm. Absolutely. Was this valuable at all, guys? Okay. Like I said, if anybody is interested in go seeing the eclipse, I think we're close, hopefully. But what we covered, we talked about a quick overview of lead sources, case studies for recent ads that are working, best practices for running Facebook ads, live walkthrough of choosing, smart plan and designing an ad, and expectations around what you receive as far as future business. So we did a lot. I'm gonna come back in here because I know we still have some time on the clock here. And it is starting to get dark outside. So here's the deal. I have 2 books I want to give away, but I will give them back after we've gone. We've taken our break and coming back. So if anybody's interested in potentially getting, let's see, what do we have here? We have Wealth Can't Wait. Okay, this is one of them we've got. So here, we'll set it up on this table right here. And then if anybody's interested and likes science fiction, guess what? I'm also, like I said, published science fiction writer, and I will give you and sign the first book in my series if you are interested. So
Let's go look.
So let's go look. I only have 1 pair of glasses though. Sorry, guys.
We'll pass it around.
You all right? Let me carry you?
We're done. Yeah.
Don't put that down.
Sore. So
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. Jim. Look at my garbage. How are you, sir?
Good, really good.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's good.
Did they give you any feedback when you took it?
No, they're like, what's it? And I'm like, thank you. And I'm like, I just wanna make sure this is just, whatever. I had a couple questions about how to fill some stuff out. They were nice enough, but they were, whatever. They're nice enough people.
Yeah, they didn't give you any expectations like, oh, you guys are doing.
Yeah, they said, they're like, yeah, it's gonna be 2 to 6 weeks and, we're gonna reach out to you through, email or by like snail mail and, just keep an eye out.
That's better than, like, weren't you told 2 to 12?
Yeah, so they cut it down a bit, but I'm hoping to hear back like super quickly, whatever, of course, that's what I'm hoping for, but, whatever, it's all good. So, and I had all the paperwork that I needed, which was good too, so. So, really wanted just a lot of traffic, a lot of access, up and down 985.
985 or 85?
985 is what was first, even on the way over here, it's like, someone, I don't know what the hell they were driving, it put like a, sort of like a dog catcher van that like, with no dogs, but had
They got it.
rolled over a couple times, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so that's where I'm at with everything. Yeah, now I'm just like watching videos on how to do a CNA.
Well, don't lose sight of like reaching out to all your, for sure. Jared sent you a Brian about just only doing the survey scripts. I don't know if I shared that with you. And obviously, it makes sense. You probably know the real estate. So, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're just like tweaking that for sure. Yeah, for sure. But that gives you an opportunity to start calling your entire. Having them in the conversation.
It's time to go, right?
I think he was gonna do just a little bit more, I think questions or something if he comes back, when he comes back, but. Got stuff in.
This is how we made our workflow better than ever with Monday.com. It gave our team one centralized workspace where we could easily manage all workflows, files, people, and data. Now we work in sync, so everyone knows their part in
So just to let anyone know if they're in the room, if you want to see the eclipse without going outside, you can go to nasa.com and watch it to the NASA website and see it.
Thank you.
And you don't need sunglasses or special glasses to look at it.
You know, we all have to have a password. Chili.
Yeah, totally.
It didn't feel as cold when everybody was in here.
Yeah, no.
It's because it got so dark outside, it just got chilly in here.
I think it's, might be a little bit of it.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just the sun isn't, isn't so bright at the moment, I don't know.
There are not enough, as many people in here just breathing. That's the other part.
Thea?
Yeah. Now Thea uses this.
This is from Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is the whole thing.
It's about $50 a month ago.
Even though I looked through this, I feel like my eyes are burning still.
Really?
Yeah,
It says a lot of it.
they're also probably dry because I feel like I hadn't slept in days.
That's a deal, but I had the Austin, but
Having kids, traveling for work, all that's exhausting.
You travel every day?
Not every day, no, but I was in Austin for three days at KWI, so.
What role did Mark take? I just happened to see that one day. Whoa, what happened?
Yeah, he stepped down from being president and he's
Okay.
He's got market centers he also owns, so he's OP at some market centers. He's gonna be doing some other things for KWI, but FSO is one of the things he's gonna be teaching.
Oh, I would love to have taken it through. I signed up with Jason Abrams just to see Jason speak.
Yeah, well,
He didn't come.
that's not bad at all.
He didn't come.
Oh, he
A
didn't?
married team did it. I was so disappointed.
No,
They did
well,
good. God knows.
yeah, Mark's gonna be doing FSO. That's my
I
understanding.
think other stuff on there, but I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
But I mean, Mark Willis is now CEO again and, you
I'm
know,
glad he's back.
yeah. So, well, I guess this is most everybody back. So how do we want to do this? I want to do a book giveaway, but I'm always split on the system by which to decide who should win. So, one time previously, we did it as picking a random number, so we could always pick a random number.
Numbers are always good.
Or unless somebody is just a super nerd in here and can answer, I don't know, I don't have a super nerdy question ready, so. Maybe we'll do numbers, okay? We'll do numbers. So, and actually, hang on a second, let me move this to, here, we'll put it there. All right, so first up for bid, we have, we'll start with the business book here. So first up for bid, we have Wealth Can't Wait, and this is by David Osborne and Paul Morris. I have not had the opportunity to read this particular wealth building book yet, but I have heard good things. So if you are interested in this book right here, I'm gonna write down a random number on my pad between 1 and 500.
Wow.
1 and 500.
Wow.
Whoever is closest to that number. So if you're interested, call out a number and we'll get everybody's number.
217.
Okay?
365.
Okay?
19.
19.
What did you say between, sorry?
1 and 500. Yeah, it's a wide range.
369.
Okay.
377.
349.
Man. All in the threes.
300,
Okay.
244,
408.
244.
244. Anybody else not?
282.
All right, so the number that we have is 325. So I believe the closest to this we're gonna have is, actually, hang on a second. Oh my gosh, what's closer, 349 or 300?
What's the number?
20.
So 24 would be 349. So who had 349? You want a book? You're welcome. And it has a special bookmark that's actually, this is from my series 2. And if you want a free audiobook there. it's
Oh,
available
yes, I
too.
do.
So there
Thank
go.
you.
Awesome. Okay,
What was your number?
324.
324.
yeah. That's
By one.
349.
it was 325, so 349, 320. You had 300, so
I was close.
very close. We were very close in the space. Okay, so the next one, this is a little bit about this. It's a hard science fiction story, okay? So it's a space opera, meaning it takes place in space. It's about a 5-year-old boy. His parents wake him up in the middle of the night, send him on an interstellar mission to basically make contact with an alien entity who promises to save Earth from all of our problems. Things do not go as planned, as you can expect. So he spends a good portion of his life growing up in space and then is basically thrown into the microbender of reality. So, anyway, first book in the series, second book is coming out in the next few months. I have it's currently with my editor. So, I will pick a number and anyone who's interested, give me a number.
1 through what?
I'm sorry.
150.
Oh, same thing, 1 through 500. You said 150? Okay,
250.
okay,
33.
okay.
185.
It's gonna do one something, everybody's doing one something.
180.
180, okay.
415.
What?
415.
415.
416.
Did you say a number? I'm sorry. 416. Oh my gosh, what is this price is right?
169. $1.
175, $1. $1.
276.
276.
402.
402.
15.
15. All right. The number was 210. So let's see, who's the closest on this? I have a 250, that's 40 away, so no. I have a 180, who's 180? Okay, 180 is 30 away. I'm trying to think, is that the closest? I do believe so. So yes, it is 180, so I'll be happy to sign it afterwards, and also I've got another little thing that goes with this. Hang on, I believe I brought it. Okay, so this says special significance right here. So my name is Jeremy Fitzpatrick Mauldin, so that's why I'm J Fitzpatrick Mauldin on my books. I go by Patrick, by the way, so. But Jeremy Fitzpatrick Mauldin, this right here, this pin says Fitzpatrick. It was a play on my family crest back when I was DJing. I got these made up for promotional items, so this is something that maybe only like, I don't know, 50 of these still exist. So anyway, there you go. I'll be happy to sign it later, and yeah. So, was that fun? I've been bringing books now to classes as I have some giveaways and stuff. Maybe I'll do t-shirts and stuff later too. Do me a favor, guys. Scan this QR code and let us know if this class was valuable. And as y'all are doing that as well, let's get some ahas from today. What did you learn? What are you gonna put into practice from this?
I've learned that I need to go figure out how to use smart plans.
That's a fair one. So is there anything particular that has held you back on smart plans, or just, you know?
She's like 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
Oh, you're 3 weeks old. Okay.
Yeah,
What, you don't know how to do all this
I
yet?
haven't, no. So,
Probably haven't done your post license yet, right?
have not,
Yeah.
next month.
Yeah. It is, it's a lot, just even just passing the test, and then you get done with it and you're like, I still don't know what the bleep I'm doing.
Yeah, it's been a little bit working for a fire hose, so, yeah, but I'm really interested in doing the whole social media thing, so.
Okay, well, awesome. I will say, give yourself a little grace on feeling overwhelmed, because like, and drinking from, like, that's just part of it.
Yeah.
So just embrace it. It's weird, it stinks, and then all of a sudden one day you'll be like, I think I finally understand all this crap. Like random disparate things that made no sense, just all of a sudden all connect.
Yeah.
I've been in real estate, like I said, 12 years. Just this year is when I finally decided to get my license for referral reasons. And even going through it, I'm like, I know all this stuff, but I didn't know all this stuff. And like, there's so many things that just being on the peripheries of everything, I'm like, well, this makes a lot more sense now. But then I'm still like, would I negotiate a contract tomorrow? Nope. I may be licensed in Georgia, but I am not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel comfortable with that. So it's all part of it. It's just a process. It's a process. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
For me, it's just making sure, so I run Facebook ads, it's just basically out of my business page, for different reasons. And for me, it's just running everything through command to make it just easier and more automated.
I love that. Yeah, now, just out of pure curiosity, when you're running them through Facebook directly, through the ads manager, did you have any kind of like Zapier or anything like that set up to grab those and put them in? Or were you just, when they came in, you followed up with them kind of thing?
Came in then I followed up with them.
Yeah.
But the issue that I was having is not enough people were registering. And so that's the rub with that. So just having that's why I was asking specifically about the forms.
Yeah.
So that, you're basically just almost auto accepting.
Which is part of the reason why they'll forget half the time that they even looked at your ad. Don't take that as an insult. It just, I mean, I don't remember half the stuff I'll look at on Facebook. I'll forget like 5 minutes later. I'm like, what was I looking at? So. Anybody else? Any other ahas?
It's nice to know that there's the lead form on there automatically. And the only time I've done Facebook ads, I did something wrong because I thought I didn't get any. But I did it wrong because all of a sudden somebody told me where to look and I had hundreds of Facebook leads. And those are the people that I'm contacting now.
You touched on something.
You.
You touched on something I want to be sure everybody's aware of. Let me go out of this mode and show you real quick. Let's go. Here, let's see. I'm on the right screen share for my, yeah. So if you can't find your leads, this is something that happens sometimes. Now, is anybody here on a real estate team or have a real estate team? Are we mostly solo agents in the room? Okay, yeah, that's right. You're on a team. If you're on a team, you've got some extra steps on here. Feel free to reach out to me. I can help out with this, but all of this is to say, actually, let me skip over to a team account so you can see what I'm talking about. If you're on a team account, there's a thing called lead pool. And sometimes when you run ads through a team account, if nobody claims the lead based on how your route's set up, they'll fall into lead pool and they'll just be sitting here. Okay, so it doesn't mean that they're gone. They're just sitting here. Same thing on solo accounts, except there's no lead pool on a solo account because, well, they're all your leads. But sometimes what you have to do is you have to do, if it's not set on all, it may be set on contacts only. You have to go to leads. Everything that comes in through a Facebook ad lead will be given this little L on them. Okay, so it's the same thing. So if you can't find them, that's usually what ends up happening. There is a bug every once in a while with Facebook ad leads. Not very common, but I've seen it a couple times recently where the ads will run. All your leads are sitting in the ads manager, but they're not coming over into command. That can be resolved by fixing a permission inside Facebook, and then all of a sudden you'll get all your leads at one time. But if you do see that happening, feel free to reach out. We can walk through it or check with support. So, anyway.
I've got a listing coming up in the next week, so that'll allow me to use the ad thing through Facebook on that listing, right?
I love it. I love that. Well, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you coming. It was fun doing the clips with you guys too. So you'll have a wonderful afternoon. This will definitely end up being a memorable day for me.
I was given a class for that.
That's right. That's right. Hey, it's a sign. You should be doing Facebook ads. And, you know, it all came in convergence. So anyway.
It's a sign from God.
The sign from God.
Close.